Quick context. I come from a multimedia background, comfortable working digitally. But for the last few months I have been studying watercolor specifically, and this was my first time taking it outdoors, plein air style, with a group. Let me walk you through what happened, what I got wrong, and what I learned. Lesson 1. Camaraderie is the real fuel. On-the-spot painting is humbling. The artist next to me finished a beautiful piece in 45 minutes while I was still mixing my sky. But nobody competes. People shared brushes. They lent pigments. They laughed at their own mistakes. That energy is what keeps you painting when watercolor starts misbehaving, and it will misbehave. Lesson 2. Nature is a more honest subject than any reference photo. The light shifts every 15 minutes. The wind moves your paper. Shadows disappear. You stop chasing perfection and start chasing a feeling. That single shift changed how I think about painting. Capture the mood, not the photograph. Lesson 3. Watercolor rewards planning, not control. In digital art I could brute force a piece with layers and undo. Watercolor demands you think before the brush touches paper. Where is the light source? Which areas stay white? What gets painted first? I learned to spend the first 5 minutes just looking and planning. Those 5 minutes saved me from disaster. Lesson 4, and this is my biggest mistake, I oversaturated my colors. I came in heavy. Too much pigment, not enough water. Result, muddy, flat washes. Look at this. That's what happens when you forget watercolor is built on light layers, not bold strokes. Start lighter than you think you need. You can always layer up. You cannot remove pigment once it lands. Lesson 5. Paper weight matters more than I expected. I started on thin sketchbook paper. It warped the moment water hit it. A senior artist gave me a sheet of 300 GSM cold press paper, and it held flat. It forgave my mistakes. If you are studying watercolor, do not save money on paper. Save it on everything else. Lesson 6. Wet on wet is magic when you trust it. A senior artist showed me how to pre-wet the paper and drop in color. Watch what happens. The pigment moves on its own. It creates soft edges and atmospheric blends I could never have planned. The trick is not to overwork it. Drop the color. Step back. Let watercolor do its own work. Lesson 7. Mixing on the palette is not the same as mixing on the paper. I learned this the hard way. Palette mixing stays clean and predictable. Paper mixing can go beautiful or completely muddy. Practice both. As a general rule, for skies and broad washes, mix on paper. For details and shadows, mix on palette. Lesson 8. Being part of a community of artists abroad is a quiet privilege. We are Filipinos in Kuwait, painting outdoors together, speaking Tagalog over our paint trays. That is identity. That is home. That is creative survival. If you are studying watercolor alone, find a community. It will change your trajectory. That was my first plein air watercolor day. 2 ruined paintings. 1 I am proud of. 8 lessons. If you are studying watercolor or just thinking about picking it up, save these. Try them. Tell me in the comments, what was your first watercolor disaster? I read every one. Hit subscribe if you want to follow this watercolor journey. Mabuhay. See you in the next one.